somewhere in the quiet hours of dawn, when the world is still hushed and the softest beams of sunlight spill across wrinkled hands, there are older adults who seem to radiate a gentle peace, a kind of inner glow that defies the passage of time. You might see them in your neighborhood, their eyes reflecting years of living, yet resting calmly on the present moment, unhurried and unburdened. There's a mystery in their serenity, a sense that they've found a secret the rest of us are still searching for. Meanwhile, others carry a different weather inside, a storm of memories, regrets, and restless thoughts. Their faces are etched with worry, their steps weighed down by invisible burdens. What draws this line between peace and turmoil? Between being anchored in the now and being swept away by the past? The answer, surprisingly, does not lie in external circumstances. It isn't dictated by fortune or family, by what's been gained or lost. The true difference is cultivated deep within, often quietly, through the daily practice of mindfulness. This is not some fleeting trend or a privilege reserved for the young and flexible, but rather a profound tool, one that holds the power to transform the inner landscape of aging, to bring light and warmth where there may have been cold and shadow. As we grow older, life inevitably changes. The circles around us grow smaller, routines take root, and the world can seem to shrink. Sometimes the silence becomes suffocating, and the predictability of each day blurs into a gray sameness. In this silence, the mind can turn inward, revisiting old pains, replaying mistakes, or simply numbing itself against the monotony. It's here, in these hidden corners of the psyche, that suffering can take hold, quietly, persistently, until it becomes almost invisible, even to the person living it. But mindfulness is the gentle antidote to this quiet suffering. It is the practice of noticing, of being present, fully, honestly, and without judgment. It invites us to meet each moment as it is, not as we wish it to be or as we remember it was. For older adults, this can be nothing short of revolutionary. In the act of noticing, the feel of the chair beneath them, the warmth of the sun on their face, the taste of tea on their tongue, there is an invitation to return home to the body, to the breath, and to the present. Consider Charles, a man in his late 70s who had spent years navigating life's losses. A beloved spouse gone, children wrapped up in their own busy lives, days filled with predictable routines, and a low, persistent ache of loneliness. For a long time, Charles drifted through his life on autopilot, numbing the pain with television and busy work. It wasn't until he stumbled into a mindfulness workshop, skeptical and resistant at first, that things began to shift. He was asked to do something remarkably simple. Just notice. Notice the way his coffee steamed in the morning, the way his hands felt wrapped around the mug, the way the light changed in the kitchen as the sun rose. These moments of awareness, brief as they were, opened a crack in the armor he had built around his heart. Charles began to slow down, to listen inwardly, to allow forgotten feelings to surface and pass. There were tears, yes, but also laughter. For the first time in years, he felt truly alive, present, not just surviving, but participating in his own life. The regrets and losses didn't disappear, but their grip loosened. Mindfulness helped Charles forgive himself, to meet his own suffering with kindness rather than criticism. This is the quiet, transformative power of daily mindfulness. The aging mind is not a lost cause. On the contrary, it is a vast and beautiful forest, full of memories, lessons, and wisdom. But if left untended, regrets and old wounds can take root, tangling up the present moment. Mindfulness is the gardener, tending gently, clearing what no longer serves, nurturing new growth. Through the simple act of paying attention, older adults can reclaim not only their peace, but also their curiosity, their gratitude, and their zest for life. It's easy to overlook the value of these small moments. After all, the world prizes action, achievement, productivity, but as the years pass, what becomes most precious is not how much we have done, but how deeply we have lived, how present we have been for the ordinary miracles of existence. The sound of rain on the roof, the laughter of a grandchild, the feeling of fresh sheets at night. Mindfulness returns us to this richness, reminding us that even in the simplest experiences, there is beauty and meaning. And this is not just poetic speculation. Science affirms what countless traditions have long understood. Routine mindfulness practice, even for just a few minutes a day, can lower blood pressure, ease anxiety, slow cognitive decline, and foster resilience in the face of physical and emotional challenges. It doesn't erase the aches of aging or the pain of loss, but it changes the relationship we have with them. Instead of being consumed by what hurts, the mind learns to observe, to accept, and to let go. For those who practice mindfulness, loneliness may still visit, but it no longer claims the house. Regret may knock on the door, but it is met with understanding rather than resistance. There is a softening, a gentleness, a sense of coming home to oneself. In the end, the difference between those who glow with peace and those who carry storms is not one of fate, but of attention. Peace is not the absence of struggle, it is the presence of awareness. It is the daily choice to return, again and again, to the only moment we ever truly have, this one. And in that moment, everything is possible. So, as the sun rises and the days unfold, the greatest gift older adults can give themselves is the simple act of noticing, of being present with whatever is here, with kindness and curiosity. In this way, the heart finds rest, the mind finds clarity, and the spirit finds its glow. Mindfulness does not promise a life without pain, but it offers a life with presence. And in presence, there is peace. There's a quiet truth that often slips between words, rarely voiced but deeply felt. As the years pass, people prepare for the end of life in ways almost invisible. This preparation isn't filled with dramatic gestures or loud proclamations. Rather, it's a subtle gathering of thoughts, a gentle tidying of the heart. It's a truth wrapped in silence, sometimes mistaken for resignation. But in reality, it's an invitation to explore the richness of each remaining day. Mindfulness doesn't erase the reality of mortality. It doesn't offer empty promises of endless youth or a life without loss. What it does, however, is far more profound. Mindfulness transforms the experience of aging, turning dread into depth, transforming fear into presence. For older adults, it opens a door to the sacredness hiding in everyday moments. A cup of tea, a ray of sunlight, the laughter of a loved one. It asks, not for more years, but for better ones. It whispers that the measure of a life is not how long it lasts, but how deeply it is lived. In that depth, joy finds a home. In that depth, the soul discovers a place to rest. Isn't that what we want for those we love? Not simply the survival of the body, but the serenity of the spirit. There's a myth that older adults are too set in their ways to learn new practices like mindfulness. But this is a misunderstanding. If anything, older adults hold the greatest potential for stillness. They've simply forgotten the comfort it can bring. They don't need new lessons. They need gentle reminders that the present moment is worth visiting. Mindfulness is not a foreign concept. It's ancient, woven into the fabric of human experience. It's not something to acquire, but something to remember. It's already within, patient and persistent, waiting to be welcomed home. Mindfulness doesn't steal time, it returns it. It doesn't demand silence from the world, it creates silence within. It doesn't force change, it offers peace. Why then should older adults practice daily mindfulness? Because aging is not a fixed point. It's a journey through shifting emotional landscapes. Because each breath taken with awareness is a quiet triumph over the past. A statement that life's meaning is not confined to youth. Every mindful moment is a refusal to accept that the best has already gone. Older adults are not closed books. They are living stories, their pages still turning. Mindfulness is the pen that writes these pages, the ink that colors them, the language that brings them to life. Imagine a world where mindfulness is woven into the fabric of elder care, where nursing homes offer daily moments of quiet reflection, where retirement communities are designed with spaces for simply being, where grandchildren and grandparents share not only stories, but a minute of shared stillness. What would that world look like? It would be softer, gentler, kinder, a world where aging is honored, not feared, where the later chapters of life are not marked by sorrow, but by grace and presence. The truth is, while the body may age, the soul remains ageless. Mindfulness serves as a bridge, connecting the wisdom of the body with the spirit's enduring light. It doesn't cure, but it comforts. It companions. It sits quietly with the elderly in their solitude, holds their hands through aching memories, celebrates simple joys, and helps release old sorrows. It teaches that aging is not a burden to bear, but a life to savor. In the gentle act of noticing, a person rediscovers themselves, beyond years, beyond scars, beyond roles, simply human, simply alive. So when you next meet an older adult, don't ask what hurts or what's been lost. Instead, ask them to share what they notice in this moment. And if they see nothing, invite them gently to close their eyes and try again, because sometimes the most precious truths are felt, not seen. This is the quiet miracle of mindfulness, and it belongs to everyone, in every season of life.